Hello, and welcome to the Music Shack podcast. This is episode number 6. This week you're joined by myself, Bruce,
Ron,
and Ed. Due to the current climate and current events, I'd like to say rest in peace to George Floyd. My prayers and condolences goes out to his family. And I wanted to start off by highlighting some songs that, speak to the, what's going on. Trey Songz dropped a song called 2020 Riots, How Many Times, and it's a beautiful, touching song. And he just asks how many more lives have to be lost before we change, what's so wrong with our justice system in America. Another song was Jim Jones' The People, which was short and direct, and you could feel the message he was trying to convey with every line.
what's going on is a weird time. The music coming out about it is, it's powerful.
Yes.
Just to put it into one word, it is very, very powerful. So many different expressions are being brought up. So many different opinions are being stated. And they're right. Like, how many more casualties do we need before something actually is done? There are steps being taken, but
Yes.
And
I'm
eventually.
glad steps are finally being taken.
Yes, very much. Moving on from our little BSA, I guess is what we're gonna call that.
Yeah. Well, there's actually,
Unless you want to have something else.
there's also Grizzley's Mr. Officer, where he was joined by Queen Naija and members of the Detroit Youth Choir. The songs Queen Naija and the Youth Choir sing very beautifully, and Grizzley raps about the lack of trust in the community between the citizens and the people who were sworn to protect them. And I think it's a beautiful piece. We could move on to the album, or I could talk about one more song.
If you got one more,
go right ahead.
by all means.
Meek Mill's Other Side of America. It's an eye-opening piece about the struggle of being an African-American man in an economically depressed area in the United States. He grew up in Philly. If you turn on the local news where we're at, which is in South Jersey, you hear about the shit that happens in Philly with people getting killed. And he raps about how he feels like, the police aren't there to protect him. So, very good song.
Mm-hmm.
But so moving on to our regular, little setup, we have the Billboard Charts. We have our Hot 100, which currently sitting at number 1 is Rockstar by DaBaby, featuring Roddy Ricch. We have Savage by Megan Thee Stallion at 2.
Did you listen to that? Because it's
I did.
the one featuring Beyonce or the original?
I did the original, I think.
I like the original better than the one featuring Beyonce.
Yeah?
Yeah. But it's the one featuring Beyonce that's the one that's number 2.
Okay.
Just,
Then we have Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
I've been on that song since I first heard it.
It's very good.
It's an amazing song.
Fame on Fire actually, I think about a month or so ago, did a cover of it, and it's very, very good.
It's a shame that it's straight from the 80s, but
Right?
I think
I
that's what
like it
makes
better
so
that
good.
way.
Number 4, we have Say So by Doja Cat featuring Nicki Minaj.
It's funky. I think Nicki Minaj out-rapped the shit out of Doja Cat, but
I think I listened to the one without Nicki Minaj, and it was just kind of, it was bouncy a little bit. And then number 5 is Rain on Me by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, which actually went down 4 spots.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
So that was at
Number 1.
that was number 1. Then we have our next setup, which is Billboard 200. So these are
The album charts, right?
the album charts. So we're looking at the top 5 albums. We have Chromatica by Lady Gaga, which is brand new entry at number 1. We have Life on the Flip Side by Jimmy Buffett at number 2.
Yeah, I gotta
Brand new
check that
entry.
out. haven't heard it.
My Turn by Lil Baby.
I love that album.
And then we have Wanna by Gunna.
A lovely name.
And then High Off Life by Future at number 5.
Very good album, my opinion.
All lovely albums.
I went through Chromatica a little bit, and it's like I wasn't too impressed with it. I mean, I had like 1 or 2 songs that I kind of liked. I like Stupid Love.
Okay.
I mean, I know you mentioned Rain on Me.
Yeah.
Earlier was one of your favorites off that one, but
well, it stood out to me. It's not. I can't say I necessarily had a favorite off of it.
I mean, it's in a sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's Lady Gaga. You can take it for what it is.
I mean, it sounded like standard, like, electronic music.
Yeah.
And some of the songs on there, like, she can actually sing. And with her not singing, on some of those songs, it was just weird hearing her talk with the electronic modifications.
Right. And then we have our top 10 artists.
Yes.
Number 1 starting with Lady Gaga.
Number 2, Jimmy Buffett.
We have The Weeknd at number 3.
Got Drake at number 4.
Luke Combs at 5.
Post Malone at 6.
The Babies at number 7.
And
Lil Baby's at 8.
yep.
Roddy Ricch at 9. And Run the Jewels at number 10.
Who dropped an amazing album this week.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful album.
It's very nice. It's very, very good.
I've actually listened to that album multiple times this week. I've already added it to my list.
I love the pacing he has and the flow he has through the songs.
Yes.
For how fluid it is, and just literally not missing a beat at all. He's just on it. It's very, very enjoyable in that regard. It's right up my alley when it comes to that type of music too, which is, it's not something everybody does, and it's not something everybody can enjoy either, because some people don't like the faster tempos, especially nowadays, because it's such a different format. So to hear something like that is a little bit refreshing for me, at least, because I get a little bit more enjoyable, a little more of an enjoyable time out of it, and it's just more replayability for me in there. So that's just something I enjoy. Is there any songs that you want to mention off of that, or do you want to just move into the next thing we have?
Well, all right. So I thought the album was great. We're talking about Run the Jewels, RTJ4. That's the name of the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, what is it? It was Goonies versus E.T. When I heard the chorus, I was like, oh, they're going for like a dance track or like a club track, and then they start rapping their normal, and I'm like, okay, it's not where I thought this was going when I heard the chorus come in, but I was like, I thought they were gonna try something a little different, but I thought Walking in the Snow was a great song off that album.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Just, which had Pharrell Williams on it.
It did.
Yeah, A Few Words for the Firing Squad and A Ground Below. Those were my standouts from that album.
Yep. And then you had Pulling the Pin.
Yeah.
One of the songs that it stood out to me only because the way the hook is at the beginning, and then they use it throughout the rest of the song when they go from I think it's from a verse to the chorus or whatever. Is Ooh La La.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh La La.
Yeah. That hook is very weird.
Very simple.
It's very simple, and it
works.
It works, but it's weird just because of the way the pitch of his voice is.
Yeah.
And it was weird to hear.
It was very fun to listen to the first time around, though.
Yeah.
Yes. Very fun to listen to.
I liked Out of Sight. I think that one's
one of my favorites out of the album was Never Look Back, mainly because of the message he was portraying through it.
Mm.
Yeah, overall, RTJ4 is a very, very enjoyable, solid hip-hop album.
Yes, it is.
Moving on to what we have next. Why don't we go with Bruce next? Let's go with what you had.
All right. We'll go with the album, I guess.
Mind you, this album's from a little bit
earlier in the year.
Yeah, so
March 2nd.
We're just trying to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's Upgrade by Pixel Terror. A lovely EDM album. Just makes you feel like you're ready to just run and punch.
Yeah, it's short and sweet, 5 songs, but
You could say it's bittersweet.
So some of those drops, dude. I felt like I was in 2010 again.
right.
Like, I'm like, damn. Like, it sounded like the golden age of dubstep era shit.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes. Yes,
It's almost weird because like 5 songs. It's like that's all you got out of this gem that's here. It's like
Yeah.
I want more of this.
But I mean, they were all beautiful.
The first song caught me way off guard because of the way the intro was.
Mm-hmm.
I was not ready for a dubstep drop, especially.
Yeah.
We're 10 years out of that era. Like, we're almost a decade out of that era, out of like when it was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't expect that kind of drop,
Right.
and it was great. Enigma had some fucking chaotic drops that I thought were amazing. But yeah,
I liked Nebula.
Nebula.
Nebula was interesting because right towards the end it goes very like ambient and like sort of spacious feeling, where it's just tones ringing off of one another and just drowning, like dragging themselves out to the end of the song for like the last, I want to say it's like the last 35, 40 seconds or whatever. So to go from the high energy that it had to ending itself off with that drowning, like the droning on of what it is. It's dissonant, but it works for what it's supposed to do, if that makes any sense. And then you had another thing that I knew you were going to bring up.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on the topic of EDM, can I bring up a track?
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, so Dimension, spelled DIM3NSION, dropped a track called Witcher, which is very bass heavy and very high energy, and it's definitely worth a listen. I enjoyed it. So
Witcher, I can only imagine.
I'll have to listen to that after this then. But we've also got Carry the Weight by We Came as Romans, and we're going to talk about the one featuring Fit for a King. It's an amazing song.
it's good metal song. It's hard, heavy. No complaints here.
There's something about the kind of growl that their frontman can put out for We Came as Romans. It's visceral and it's guttural, and it's used in that way at the right moments.
It makes the song feel like it has more bite.
Yeah, there's definitely more of an edge to it with that. And they actually did. I want to bounce that into one of mine real quick, where Fit for a King did. This was a collaboration effort because We Came as Romans did a version of Carry the Weight with Fit for a King, and then Fit for a King did a song called Backbreaker with We Came as Romans. And it's the same thing. It's heavy, it's brutal, and it hits the right notes at the right times. And in the chorus, where the vocalist goes in, sever all the ties. I think it's sever all the ties, sever all the lies, and then the music cuts, and he just guttural growls Backbreaker into the microphone.
That was lovely for the listening pleasure at the time.
Yes.
I probably listened to that song 3 times just for that.
Yeah, what's weird is the chorus, in the background of the chorus, there's a breakdown, and it's repeated because it's the beginning portion basically repeated again with like a couple changes in words. But other than that, that's all it really is. But so it's simple in that sense in terms of lyric format, but it works and it gets the job done in a very nice fashion. So I very much enjoy both of those.
Why don't we jump onto your album next?
While we're in that genre.
The Ghost Inside.
Yes.
By The Ghost Inside.
Yes. Self-titled. This band has not had music in 6 years. This is their first set of songs in 6 years. 2014. That's a long time ago. That album in 2014 was Dear Youth, which I absolutely love. And I love their earlier stuff too. Everybody knows Engine 45 if you listen to metalcore.
Yep.
And Engine 45 is a beautiful piece.
Which was the only song I knew by them. But I'm an ignorant swine, so.
Well, at the time, I only knew, when I first started them, I knew that song, and then I dove deeper. The Ghost Inside is a band who does metalcore, and the singer is a very one-dimensional growl. He has a very one-dimensional growl. He knows where his safe spot is, and he doesn't really go any deeper or any higher with it. And then he has points where he does actually sing, and his singing voice is amazing. But this album, this is on the tail end of everything that happened in 2014, or something like that, when, I don't know exactly when it happened, but they were on tour, and their tour bus was in a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler.
Both of the drivers died.
Yes, the driver of the bus and the driver of the truck were killed. The band, every single member, suffered severe injuries, and every one of them had to go through physical therapy. The drummer losing one of his legs. And I didn't know this at the time, so, I was waiting after Dear Youth, so like, all right, when are they going to drop something new? When are they going to drop something new? Where's the new music? I didn't know what they were doing, so I was out of the loop when they dropped the song Aftermath, because that was the first song they released off of this, and it's the last song on the album, and it's fitting for that. When they dropped that song in that video, I found out exactly why they hadn't had music in 6 years. And I felt moved, because they went through so much trauma and so much pain that they still had the strength to keep going and make more music. Because there's a line in the song that says the beat goes on, and it does. If you have the drive enough to keep going after something that severe, the beat does certainly go on, and you just keep going with it. You just make more material, and you keep doing what you want to do. Especially the drummer. He doesn't even use a prosthetic when he drums. His drum setup on his kit is specifically designed so that he can use the stump of his leg to hit the pedal on the kick. If I didn't know that, and I heard this album, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know any of this until you told me last night.
Yeah, no, it's...
And believe it or not, Aftermath I had as a standout track from this album, because of just how great of a song it is.
I absolutely love it.
None of the story.
I absolutely love... The whole album is a masterpiece. I love every single second of it. Pressure Point was the other song they released as a single. They released 2 singles and then they dropped the album.
That was another good one.
Pressure Point, I think, is my favorite in terms of just like being just a traditional, heavy, fast-paced metal song that it kicks you in the face. But even the lyrics behind that one are amazing too, and I love the breakdown right towards the end of it because it's kick after kick after kick, and it is just fantastic of an album. So I highly recommend giving that one a listen. I can't say enough praise about it. Oh, and then the album artwork, because I mentioned this to you as well.
Yeah, which I didn't realize. I'm used to seeing a lot of pictures on people's albums, so I didn't know the significance behind it.
So the album artwork for the self-titled Ghost Inside album it's their logo, and then in the background of the entire thing is a bunch of pictures that they had since the accident, like through all their therapy, through people sending them, get well cards and stuff like that, and just their journey through through the trauma and recovering. Those pictures are the collage for the background of the album cover, and they show you that in the music video for Aftermath. Right towards the end of the video, through the video they show the different pictures. At the end of that video, they actually show all the pictures coming together and making the album artwork. I thought it was just very, very cool and it was very unique. And I give them praise for what they're doing, especially for that drummer.
Yeah. Drummer. Shit.
It's insane. I love it. Moving on. If anybody else has anything to drop real quick, go ahead. If not, we'll move on into some news that we might have. I do want to talk about the DMCA thing I talked about with you guys yesterday.
All right, yeah.
Because that kind of relates.
It is relatable. It has to, music and copyrights and
yeah. So
runs right along.
For anybody who doesn't know, the music industry is having a bit of an altercation with people who live stream games like on Twitch, or anybody who makes YouTube content, because Obviously, copyright is a thing. So people who want to play copyrighted music and make money off of their entertainment, which is like, so if you Twitch stream and you are playing something that's a copyrighted song off from a major label, there's a thing going on now where you could possibly get hit with DMCA strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Where essentially that says, hey, you're making content and making money off of your content, but our content as a label is in the background. So you are making money while having something of ours that is copywritten, so which means you technically have to pay us royalty if we decide to act on it. So a lot of streamers and content creators are deleting past clips and VODs on their channels so they don't get hit with this. It might, because that's a lot of money you'd be paying out to a label.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Especially for how many songs might go through your stream if you stream for like 8+ hours a day. Some of these people do this as a living.
Hold on, people stream for 8 hours?
Yes.
How do you watch an 8-hour stream?
You just have nothing to do all day.
I mean, it's not for everybody. I do it. I like it. But,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of these people are making, this is a career for them.
I got
So
you.
to be streaming, 8+ hours a day, almost 7 days a week, there's a lot of money you'd have to pay at that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of them are actually switching over to royalty-free music, like something like by Monster Cat or whoever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of dubstep and electronic stuff, just so they don't get hit with this.
Mm-hmm.
But that begs the question: maybe these contracts from these labels are a little bit behind the times in terms of how music is
Consumed.
by
Yeah.
everybody. But
Well, I mean, if you have a contract from the 90s, you're getting fucked by streams.
Mm-hmm.
Like so.
yeah, so there's that going on, which is a bit of a rocky surface at the moment. Obviously, we know with the pandemic, a lot of concerts have been either canceled or moved to a later date.
Speaking of which, Coachella has a tentative return date for 2021. Sometime in April. They haven't released exactly the date in April, but sometime in April 2021.
That's not entirely too far away. I mean, it's almost a full year, but at the same time, for how big of an event Coachella can be,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, actually, they're saying weekend 1 will be April 9th to the 11th, 2021. Weekend 2 will be April 16th to weekend 18th. Yeah.
All right, so yeah,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
for how
So,
big the event could be, that's understandable for taking that long to get ramped back up. It's also a lot of rescheduling, a lot of possible refunds they might have to give out, that sort of thing. I know there the MMRBQ,
mhm.
which I was looking forward to in May before everything happened, has now been moved to I think November. So I'm hoping that sticks and I can actually go to that because I was looking forward to that lineup. Because it's Five Finger Death Punch. It's been so long I have to look at the lineup. But I know Five Finger Death Punch is on that one, and I was really looking forward to it. But it was I Prevail, Ice Nine Kills, Five Finger Death Punch, and I think Papa Roach. And to me, that is a very
That
phenomenal
sounds like
lineup.
a great lineup.
I've seen Papa Roach. I've seen Five Finger Death Punch a couple times. I don't mind seeing them again, but I will be going for I Prevail and Ice Nine Kills. Those two I'm very excited to hear. And then the Hella Mega Tour. That got postponed. That's an indefinite hiatus at the moment because that was supposed to happen in August.
Yeah.
But that's now being postponed until a later date is given. Which is, whoever doesn't know who on that lineup is, it's Fall Out Boy, Green Day, and Weezer.
Which I was looking forward to go to that.
Yeah, I will definitely be taking you, that is for sure.
Mhm.
So whenever I hear about that, I will let you know. And then obviously we have all the music coming out about the rioting,
times.
the
Yeah.
times. So
Mhm.
there's plenty of content to be had.
Yeah. There's also a petition in in Richmond, where they took down a statue of Robert E. Lee, Confederate general,
Mm-hmm.
if anyone didn't know, to replace it with a statue of Orderus Uringus. He's a One of the Guar characters.
Yeah, so apologies for anybody who actually knows how to pronounce that in case we butchered it.
Yes.
Yeah, of all bands, Guar.
Hey.
I'm not against it. That seems kind of funny. But Guar of all groups.
I mean, I can name a list of people whose statue they could put there. Guar would not be on the list. No offense.
But like so again, like it's weird. I've seen Guar live too. They're interesting,
Really?
to say the least.
I've heard stories of people who went there.
They put on a hell of a show. Let's say the least. It's a hell of a concert, a hell of an experience. But yeah, it's just anybody who's curious about that, just go ahead and look up a Guar concert on YouTube. You will understand right then and there. Because they get very political and they can they just have like off the beaten path content of humor. It's weird. And that's what it is. It's weird metal. Anything else you had?
I was gonna get an album releases.
Okay.
If
Go
that's
right ahead.
So yeah, this would be a little bit of a lighter session this week, but
very late.
hopefully that picks back up soon.
First one back. Been away for 3
This is
months.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Not, music hasn't really been getting thrown out there, but that's
We'll find stuff to throw in.
yeah. I mean, there's been a part of which people are under quarantine. You can't make money off of albums when your albums are connected to concert tickets.
Yeah.
So
Nevertheless, a lot of people are still.
people are still putting out music.
Oh, before we jump into this reminds me. Just last bit of news. A couple months ago, there was a rumor, and it's just a rumor. I don't know if this is confirmed, but somebody said that because of quarantine, it has given Linkin Park more of an excuse to sit down and write more material. I don't know if it's going to be instrumental. I don't know if Mike's going to sing. I don't know if they're replacing Chester. I hope they're not. Yeah, they even said they won't be doing that because you can't replace Chester.
You can't. No.
So for all I know, that's a rumor right now, and that's about all I know. So if anybody wants to dig into that rabbit hole and find some stuff, please, by all means, entertain yourself. But that is something I heard. I wanted to throw it out there in the wind.
Okay.
So moving on to our album releases coming up.
Okay, June 12th, which will be Friday. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So The King by Pop Smoke, it's going to be his posthumous album. I believe 50 Cent worked on the production of it.
Yes.
So that should be interesting. Max B's dropping Charlie LP. EP, not LP. And Dizzy and Wright Demrick are dropping... sorry about that. Are dropping Blaze With Us 2. So there's your albums for the week. They're supposed to come out.
Slated for June 12th, 2020 for metal and hard rock, we have Aversion's Crown coming out with Hell Will Come For Us All. We have Behold the Arctopus coming out with Hapoleptic Overtrove. BPMD with American Made. Electric Mob with Discharge. Aptly named, that's kind of a little bit of pun on that.
Sounds like it.
House of Lords with New World, New Eyes. We have Lightworker with Fury by Failure. Living Gate with the Deathlust EP. Magnus Carlsen's Free For All with We Are the Night. Michael Angelo Batio with More Machine Than Man. Oracle with Hindsight 2020. Oregon with Mosfet, if I pronounced that right. Paradiddum with Worlds Beyond. Shape of Water with Great Illusions, which I may tune into that one. Shape of Water, I've heard some good things about. Smackbound with 2020, it's 20-20. Ulthar, hope I pronounced that right, with Providence. Valdrin with Effigy of Nightmares. and Vega with Grit Your Teeth.
Hmm.
Like I said, I will probably listen to the Shape of Water one because I like I said, I've heard good things about Shape of Water, Vega as well. So for anybody who knows them and are into those bands, you have plenty of music coming up.
You still looking something up?
This page is taking forever to load.
All right. We'll get back to that. I wanted to get into what we've been fucking with over the quarantine.
Yeah, so this is going to be a new segment we have too. Just to put out some stuff that we've just been listening to over time, whether it's newer, older, whatever it may be.
I've been stuck in the 90s.
I've been running in it.
2011.
I've been stuck in early 2000s a little bit.
I've been jumping all over the place, to be honest.
Yeah. It depended on the genre. If it was rock, it was 2011. If it was rap, it was... yeah.
Yeah, for me, I've been listening to a lot of more punk rock from the early 2000s. So Green Day, Yellow Card, a little bit of Trapped. Trapped actually has a new album. I think it's already out. I don't know. I will double check. I know they were working on something new, and I don't know if it's already out. It is not. That is coming out June the 19th. I will probably listen to that one. I may not cover it, but I will reiterate again once we get closer to that date that will be coming out. But I've been listening to some of that. I've been listening to Fall Out Boy, Panic, just that era and that genre. So it's been a nice break from listening to, blast beats and breakdowns, which I will listen to every day, but it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Wage War, I love Wage War. The Deadweight album is probably my favorite of the three right now, even though I love all three of them. Avenged Sevenfold, stuff like that. A lot of good stuff. So that's just a taste of what I've got.
I've actually been getting back into a little bit of some more Celtic sea faring kind of music.
Yeah.
I've been listening to The Longing by Paddy Gurdy, and one of my favorites recently is Winds of Asgard by Vionity.
Winds of Asgard. That's an interesting title.
It is a beautiful song. I definitely recommend you listen to it. And one of my favorites of recent is The Pot and Kettle by the Rumjacks, which is a song based off of the expression that the pot called the kettle black.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that's where that was going.
Yeah. But yeah. That's what I've been listening to recently.
All right. Yeah, I went in. I started listening to Pusha T, right around the time we were getting ready to go into quarantine, and there's a few songs he did with Jay-Z, and which actually caused me to deep dive Jay-Z's discography, and I realized he's probably one of the greatest rappers ever. Like, I listened to his Beyond Reasonable Doubt album, which, if you haven't heard that album and you are a hip hop fan, Jay-Z's Beyond Reasonable Doubt is definitely worth listening to. Although I'm probably going to get killed in the comments for saying that.
Yeah, don't worry.
You can't be a hip hop head if you haven't heard that album.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is it? I was listening to a lot of Highly Suspect, Royal Blood. If you didn't know, they're considered dirty rock.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard now too.
I love that sound. Love that sound. The
only band that I really like that has that sound right now is the Struts.
Okay.
And I've seen them live too. They're actually really, really good live. Their vocalist is very flamboyant on stage. It's very entertaining to watch. But yeah.
Yeah.
I've also been listening to Pop Stars by KDA. Pop Stars by they have one song. They're inspired by League of Legends characters.
Oh, okay.
Hence the name KDA of the group. It's Kill Death Assist.
Oh.
But they have the one song that came out 2 years ago. I've been playing a lot of that lately too. I don't know why. Just been on my mind. Been playing it. I've been enjoying it. I want more of that stuff too. I want more material by them. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
also diving into a lot of Cascade and Cashmere, David Guetta as well.
Okay.
So I've been all over the place. What we talk about on this podcast is just a general week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I've been keeping somewhat of a track of what's been coming out. I mean, Asking Alexandria just had their next album, I think it was, which is Like a House on Fire.
Okay.
Which is a very big departure from what they're known for. Because there's a lot of like softer material in terms of what they've produced before.
In the range of like Panic?
Not really. It's more in the range of like, because a lot of it's a hard rock sound.
Okay.
So probably in the terms of more like Shinedown now.
Okay.
Or like early Papa Roach kind of.
All right. I could fuck with that.
And then they have a couple songs that are more of a poppy vibe, but they do a good job at it.
Okay.
So that's actually a really good album, in my opinion. I happen to like it. Most people don't like when groups go in a softer direction when they're not known for that.
I don't mind when they go softer. I mind when they go pop.
We In Flames had something come out, which was an arcade version of I the Mask,
Okay.
where it's literally just a bunch of like 8-bit chiptune style renditions of that album. And then there's no lyrics. It's literally just instrumental stuff. And it's different. It's weird to hear a metal band take what they've produced and turn it into this. But I personally don't mind it. It's very weird. I kind of like weird in a sense, in that Bruce, you should actually give this a listen at some point.
I will, don't you worry.
Because it's...
He was in the second you said 8-bit.
And chiptune.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Slaughter to Prevail with Demolisher. Oh boy. That man is the spawn of Satan.
Really?
Alex the Terrible is the spawn of Satan.
Okay.
I will play it for you when we're done.
All right.
This man can go to another level of low with his growl. Lower than Franz does in Attila. And that's pretty low.
Shit.
That's pretty low. I heard this song and I was like, I'm instantly a fan. So, and they're a bit of a newer group too. They only have one like full album, and then they have an EP and 2 new songs. So, I'm very excited to see what else they do. In quarantine, what better time to do music?
Yeah.
But that's kind of just a glimpse of what we've been listening to for a little while. New or old, don't matter. Music's music.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, unless you guys have anything else to really throw in.
You find any new albums that you wanted to bring up?
Page did not load, so I'm gonna... I'll bring them up next week.
The internet can suck a dick. Okay. Suck a dick, internet. Alright.
But, Interior Crocodile Alligator. I've been listening to that too.
What?
Interior Crocodile Alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. That's a TikTok meme, but it's a good one.
I figured, because I thought I heard that from somewhere.
I had found the clip of that line, which is actually the chorus.
Okay.
It's Interior Crocodile Alligator. I found this as a clip, the TikTok clip, a while ago. When I was still working valet, I found this. Funny as shit at the time, and I absolutely loved that. And then I recently found out that it's a full fucking song. It's a full 2-minute song. And it's freestyle.
Okay.
And for anybody curious as to who it's by Chip the Ripper, who has made music in the past. He has one full album that came out in 2011 called Gift Wraps. So, I don't know who the guy is, but I like this. I happen to like this one song because it's a meme and it's out there.
Of course you like it because it's a meme. You like all memes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meme Lord Ron.
Yes.
Yes.
Crossfaith, by the way, had an EP called Species a
Mm.
little while ago too. I recently went back into that because that came out on May 22nd. But I was listening to the one song you had brought up the one time on the show.
Yes.
And I was like, let me see what else they got. And they have a new EP. It's actually really good.
Is it The Weeknd's album? I tried listening to. Impossible to listen to in the house, at least for me. Like, I need to be around people who enjoy that music. Can't do it in the house.
Right.
Just, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
It is what it is sometimes.
Yep.
That's why you buy a good pair of headphones.
I have good speakers. I have good headphones. It's not that. It's
It's the
music
environment.
meant to be experienced.
Right.
Like,
Right.
with people. Like, it's not meant to be,
It's not meant to be a solo thing.
hey, I'm going to sit on my couch and listen to this Weeknd album. Like, it's just not, it's not the thing, you know? It's not the vibe.
Yeah. I mean, Fame on Fire's got an album coming up in September, so that's a little ways off.
Nah.
But
No, it's like tomorrow.
it's called
Well,
Levels.
hold on. It's 2020, so we're about 3 years from September.
Oh yeah, I know. I know.
The album is called Levels, so anybody who's been following them lately knows what they're all about. I'm very excited to hear that. So, in due time.
Okay.
But they're a cover band. That they started out as a cover band anyway. They cover popular hip hop and pop songs that have come out in the past couple years. Since like they've also covered Michael Jackson, but they've been covering like stuff that was current at the time.
I always enjoy that when there's like that trending pop song and like a metal band's just like, yo, we're gonna do this. I always enjoyed that.
They're always good.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's always a nice time. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up for me because I could go on, but I don't want to
We
drag
know.
this.
We know you're
You go on
encyclopedia,
forever.
I've been dubbed the encyclopedia on the show.
So prove it.
Well,
No,
you see.
no.
No.
No,
You don't need
we
to
want to
prove
go
it
home
today.
at some time. I have
But,
to edit this.
This is true.
We need to do more than one run.
Okay.
I think that wraps it up.
All right. So that wraps it up.
But thank you for joining us for the 6th episode of the Music Shack podcast after 3 months. Glad to be back.
Yes.
Looking forward to doing more.
Definitely.
We've actually just started up recently another podcast where we just kind of shoot the shit with each other and talk about what we've got going on, things we've heard. That is called Ish Talkers Not Anonymous.
Ish Talkers Anonymous. Yep.
Lovely one to listen to.
That first episode will be up relatively soon,
Yep.
so be on the lookout for that. And if that's more of your style, by all means, listen to that one. If you like both, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely,
We
thank you.
appreciate it.
Spread both as much as you can. Be very much appreciated.
Yep.
And that's about. I think that's about all we got.
All right.
All right.
Anything to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, then this concludes our weekly podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with new songs, albums to talk about. Till then, Black Lives Matter. Player, one love. Have a great week. Stay safe. Mosh and rave responsibly if you can. And enjoy the noise.
Rave responsibly? I don't think it's ever been possible.